go catch fish.
Welcome to Find Your Outdoors. I'm your host, Brittany Willem, and I'm joined today with my dad, Frank Willem.
One of the neat things about having our show is the chance to test out new gear and baits from partners such as Killer Bee. A few years ago, we had the good fortune to try out their new cobia jigs, and boy did they work. But Killer Bee is always coming up with new ideas, and when they do, we're eager to help test them.
So when we had the opportunity to give some of their new freshwater baits a try, we immediately took them up on their offer. This revolutionary new bait concept allows you to customize your own baits. You can have one color head, another color tail, or mix and match completely different styles of bait. While this is normally done ahead of time to give the adhesives time to cure, they can be done on the spot if fishing conditions demand. It gives you the chance to have hundreds of different styles of bait without investing a fortune. We found it easy to do, and it was a lot of fun. We'll be teasing you a little bit today, but soon we'll be able to tell you all about them in detail.
We fished several times out at Twisted Pines, both for this show as well as for Kids Outdoors. But on this trip, Brittany joined pro Randy Deschamps, who's an expert at fishing this lake. And for over a decade, Randy was also a bass tournament pro, but now he mostly fishes for fun.
While most of my fishing growing up was offshore and much of it blue water, I enjoy being out on the water wherever and whenever I can. Watching the sun come up on the Twisted Pines Lake was really peaceful and one of my favorite parts.
Caught a bait. Caught a fish. Create a bait, right? Create a bait. Yep.
I did too. I'm taking a picture of you. Got 2 fish this morning on the new Create bait. What you think, Randy?
Pretty good bait. They held together and catching fish.
What more can you ask for, right?
That's right. One on the worm, one on the creature bait.
definitely won't if they swallow it. Third fish on the bait, they're still holding pretty good.
And then there was Brett.
Rude. I've caught one. It's not like I'm skunked. This is usually how it happens. I catch one, everybody else catches a bunch, and then I make my victory later. I let you get cocky, and then I make a comeback.
Oh, all right.
In theory, at least. There was no guessing on that one. He was hooked. Kind of like a freight train.
Good job.
Nice. I was falling a little bit behind, but I finally put the belief in them that I can still catch fish.
Getting that. Did you get any that way? He's trying to eat it.
So he wasn't on it the whole way over here?
No, he was steady hitting it the whole time. Might have to put you one of these on.
No, it's not. See? There it goes. Not a very big one, but he's spirited. Like I said, not a very big one, but at least it puts me back on the board. Just took me a little longer to get the double, but I got it.
Yeah.
Nice fish.
Some creative editing, you never know the difference.
Alright, we're not gonna play that game again. Fly fish.
Jesus. Think he likes you.
Clay does a great job of managing this lake. Each year he has a fisheries biologist perform an electrofishing analysis to examine the fish population in his lake.
It has a generator that produces the electricity and then a converter box that basically converts AC to pulse DC, and it sends the electricity out through the probes and it goes into the water, and the probes act as the anode and the boat acts as the cathode. So basically you create an electrical field that goes out and then comes back to the boat. We will net up the fish, we'll put them in our live well, and then when we get to the end of a run, shut everything off, and then we'll weigh and measure the fish and put them back unharmed. We hope to see, like I said, a healthy fish population. With differing sizes of fish, that indicates that you don't have a lack of reproduction, or you don't have a lack of growth. Pond owners, more times than not, will not harvest enough fish. And what that does is, especially with bass and brim populations, bass will ultimately become stunted. And that's just a function of Mother Nature. That's where that's going to go if you just leave it and don't do anything about it. So the main thing that we look at when we go out, the main problem that we look at most of the time is a bass stunted population. And that just means that they're not getting enough to eat, plus you have way too many fish out there. So what we recommend is to harvest as many of those as you can. And if you're extremely bass crowded, it could be up to 40 or 50 pounds an acre per year, which seems like a lot, and it is, but in order to correct the problem, that is the fix. The beginning, if you have property that you want to turn into a pond, you first have to know what your soil types are to make sure that it's going to hold water, first and foremost. And secondly, you need enough watershed so that you'll have enough water. And then once you have the proper site preparation, then, and once you get the water in there, or even before that, as far as the soil types are concerned, you need to know whether you need to lime or not, and determine whether you need to or you want to fertilize after you get the pond established. So that'll help us determine how you want to manage your fish population.
Well, as you can see, there are plenty of bass at Twisted Pines, and Britt and Randy managed to catch and release their fair share.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and thanks to Clay and Courtney Wagner for letting us fish on their lake.
Join us next week for another great episode of Find Your Outdoors.